Thank you, Casey, and I want to thank you all and all the graduates that are here today. And Jessica, your story was unbelievable, and that's what shows you by not giving up and moving forward. And you are going to be executive someday. So congratulations on a great speech. I just want to also recognize that's here tonight, my dear friend from the Boston City Council, Tito Jackson. I don't know, it's Tito. Stand up, Tito. I love Year Up. The first time that I went to Year Up was probably 2005, maybe. I met Casey, I met the graduate, I met the students, I walked around, I had a conversation with some of the classes, and I really didn't know what Year Up was, and I got a chance to learn firsthand. At that time, Casey and myself spoke about a guy who was a state senator in Chicago, a United States senator in Chicago, and his name was Barack Obama, and about how he was such a supporter of Year Up in Chicago and Illinois, and that man went on to become president because he followed his dream. And I think that's important to realize here tonight and understand tonight. Year Up serves more than 200 students per year. Well, way over that. My notes are way wrong. They're way off. I'm just reading some notes here. I'm going to get off the notes in a second. Placed 100% of your students in internships, and then the rest of the stats were up there earlier. You know, when I wrote the speech, it wasn't good. I didn't think it all the way through. This is an organization working to achieve my goal in Boston, what Year Up does. Actually, you know something? I'm getting rid of the notes. I don't need notes for Year Up. I know what Year Up does. Let me just say this. You know, when people in Boston talk about, the news media talks about what's going on in the city of Boston, they want to talk about violence. They don't talk about Year Up graduates, and we just talked about a little bit on TV. We talk about the challenges, both the graduates that are graduating tonight, the other graduates in the room, and if there's any students in the room. It's about not giving up. It's about Jessica's story. Whatever the obstacles are in your life, you can overcome those obstacles. Whatever neighborhood you grew up in, you can overcome those obstacles. It's very easy. Not when I say easy, you just do it. You take pride in your neighborhood. Casey told you a little story about myself, and I'll tell you a little bit about me. I grew up in Dorchester. I'm from Dorchester. I lived my whole life in Dorchester. Yeah. That's all we got in the house of Dorchester, huh? You know, that's all we got? Huh? All right, here we go. You know, I went to St. Margaret's Grammar School. I wasn't a great student in school. I had cancer as a kid when I was little. I missed the whole second and third grade, most of it. I graduated St. Margaret's. Sister Mary Lourdes loved me so much in the 5th grade, she kept me for a second year in the 5th grade. You know, I got out of there. I went to Newman Prep High School, which is in the Back Bay. And graduated Newman Prep High School. And when I graduated high school, I wasn't a great student. I did okay. My grades weren't great. But what I did was I went to college. I couldn't get into some of the colleges I want to go to, so I went to Quincy Junior College for a year. And I got my grades up, so it showed that I could do it. But as I got my grades up, I was going out and partying a lot and having what I thought was a good time. So after I went to Quincy, I graduated. I didn't graduate. I got out of there after a year, and I went into Suffolk University. In my first semester in Suffolk, I thought to myself, this isn't for me. I want to go work construction, because my father was a construction worker and I could make good money working construction. So I went to work construction. And the first couple of months in construction was great. And then what would happen is at lunchtime, I'd go for a couple of beers and I'd go back to work. And then at lunch, and have a sandwich. And then at lunchtime, I'd go for beers and no sandwich. And then I'd go out after work. And then I wouldn't go home. And I'd get up the next morning and go to work. And that became a pattern in my life. A pattern so much where it drove me to have to make a phone call one day about understanding that I had crossed the line. I had been in blackouts. I had done things in my life that I regret. My life was out of control, and I crossed the line. I didn't know what to do. So I went to work one day, and my boss says, working now in the union, for the laborers union, in the office, I put a suit and tie on every day, and I was making decent money. And I went into work one day, and I went into my boss's office, and I had gotten some trouble, and he said to me, you have a problem. And I said yes, and I didn't agree with him, but I knew I was in trouble at work. So he gave me a phone number to call, and I called the phone number, and it was his members assistance program was a detox. So I made the phone call. They gave me a test on the phone. They asked me 10 questions to see what my life is as far as being an alcoholic. I passed the test. It wasn't a test I wanted to pass. For once in my life, I wanted to fail that one. But I passed that test, and I went down to Gosnell, down to detox. I got in my car, and I went down there. And when I went down there, when I was in there, the first night I was there, I didn't go down there to stop drinking. I went down there to get the heat off me because I had done it again. And a lot of people in this room can identify what I'm saying, whether it's alcohol or drugs or just making mistakes in your life, making bad choices. I did it again. So I went down there and I got hope that night. Somebody spoke and told their story and I kind of identified with it. And I said, wow, that might be me. And I was down there for a week. When I got out of there for a week, I went back to work and I got involved in the program of recovery. Now, when I was growing up, I wanted to be a state representative. I wanted to run for office. I wanted to be this. I wanted to be that. And when I was drinking, all I would talk about was what I wanted to do. I would never follow through on exactly what it was I wanted to do, but I wanted to do it somehow. And what happened was when I got sober, there was an opportunity for me to run for state representative. And I ran. And I put my name on the ballot. My family didn't want me to run because they thought I had a good job and I was doing well for myself and life was good and things were great. But I wanted to run for state representative and I ran. And I was fortunate enough to get elected to the Massachusetts House of Representatives. And I served 17 years, or 16 and a half years as a state representative. Now my story is my mother and father immigrants. They came from Ireland. They came to this country. My father was a construction worker. I went to work every single day. My mother was a homemaker for a while, and then when we were growing up, she stayed at home mom, and then she went back to work, working in different various jobs. Okay, so that's the house I grew up in, immigrant home. But I had a chance, now I'm a state representative. And for 16 and a half years, I had a chance to do unbelievable things in my life. I had a chance to go back to school. And I graduated Boston College in 2009 because I didn't have a college degree. And I said to myself, I got to get a college degree. And like many of you that were in Year Up, there was plenty of mornings where you woke up and you said, you know something, I'm not going to go to Year Up today. I'm going to stop. I'm going to go somewhere else. But like many of you, you kept going. And tonight you're grateful that you went because you're going to be walking across the stage in a few minutes getting a diploma. And that's about not giving up. That's Jessica's story. That's everyone in this room's story. So I got a chance to win, and I got a chance to go to college. I got my college degree, and it's hanging in my office at City Hall. And about 9 months ago, I had the chance, actually a little more than 9 months ago, I had the chance. Mayor Menino decided he wasn't going to run again, and I decided I'm going to run for mayor of the city of Boston. And I said, you know, I'm going to run. Why? Because I know I can win. And when I got in the race, I never had a doubt in my head that I wasn't going to win, and I won the primary. It was 12 of us. I went down to 2 of us. And then we had 6 weeks for the final. And I had a chance to run in that final, and I ran for 6 weeks. And until Election Day, around 3:30, I never had a doubt in my head I wasn't going to win. I felt I was going to win. But the worst thing that was going to happen to me, the worst thing that would have happened to me on Election Day, is that I didn't win. And if I didn't win, it would have been okay, because I tried, because I didn't give up, because I kept moving, and I kept doing what I wanted to do. I followed the dream that I have today. Now, the reason why I tell you this story isn't because I'm bragging. It's because it's any one of you. When I look out at the graduates, I'm looking in a mirror. I'm looking in a mirror. Anything you want in life, whatever your dream is, whatever your goal is, the only way that it's a failure is if you don't try and achieve that goal. If you drop out, if you quit. Jessica's not going to quit. I know someday she's going to be an executive on this stage talking about what this program did for her. And that can be any one of the graduates that are here today. I am so honored to be here today with you. I love this program. As mayor of the city of Boston, think of what we can do. When Casey talks about going 25% more next year, and then 25% more than the year after, and then in 4 years, it's 100% more. In 4 years, I'll be running for my second term. We'll be able to do a lot of great things. We're going to grow. I want to thank you all. I want to thank you all for the opportunity to speak here today. This gives me inspiration every day to know there are great things in the city of Boston. This gives me inspiration to know there are great young people in the city of Boston that can rise to the top, not take the regular road, take a different road, and still get to that goal. Thank you very much, and God bless, and congratulations.